corner is an alleged brother dressed in blue or green, red, and black, and spouting the news that the revolution is coming and you better get ready to drag on and on.
This is Conscious or Crazy. I want to reintroduce myself once again. My name is Cedric Kirksey. I wanted to start off with defining conscious. Okay, conscious is the inner sense of knowing right and wrong, in one's actions. Even like with fake news versus real facts. That's what I try to expose, and that's what I'm trying to promote with this podcast. And or crazy. Crazy's definition, unsound mind or mental sound, not mentally sound. All right. I wanted to quote this Stokely Carmichael quote. The only way nonviolence works is the only way for nonviolence to work is when your opponent must have consciousness, must have a conscious, knowing right and wrong, the inner sense of knowing that, knowing right or wrong. And, that's the definition of common sense, knowing right or wrong, and that represents consciousness. And the subconscious deals with a concerning part of which one is not fully aware, by which influences one's actions. Fake news influence you, you could just run with it, But of course, I want to get to the KKK rally that happened in Charlottesville, Virginia. I wanted to talk about that, and discuss, the hatred, It's ridiculous, it's 2017 and we still see this. That lets you know that, ain't nothing new underneath the sun, It's nothing changing, Racism is still here, It was here when it was brought on them ships. It's still here now. And you definitely see it. Definitely still today. And it's ridiculous. But this rally was sparked because people wanted to take down Confederate statues, And the Confederate flag represents hatred, negativity, of the South, that's the most hatred, hatred. The flag represents hatred, period, against another race. And they wanted to take down a statue, and I feel like we definitely got to do that. But also, we got to remove and take down this racism, not being aware of racism, annoying racism, acting like it doesn't exist, annoying the problems that is in this country. I'm tired of this, that we're annoying these things. Like, just open your eyes, you will see, you see it on the TV. You see an innocent man shot on the TV, just due to race, it's innocence. And we never get the benefit of the doubt. And we see the signs, and we live in a oligarchy. This is a small group of people having control over a country, organization, or institution. We definitely see those signs, and we could definitely say that because it's a 1% that runs most of everything. I'm just asking for balance. We need a balance in the system. We've been needed a balance in this system. And just we talking about that, I watched Donald Trump's press conference talking about the incident in Charlottesville, Virginia, and all of what he stated, and the fact that he called us the blacks is really not helping, his stance on things. To me, I'm sorry, that doesn't help. I don't think it's legit, really. So they always quote the Constitution. We are all equal under the law, in the Constitution. Like, That's never been true in my point of view. There's many of people that can agree with that. I'm saying it's unfit. It's been an unfit system for a while now. You know, we are not treated the same in the U.S. You know, you could tell, you could see. You know what I'm saying? You could definitely see. And I'm saying, and it's let's make America great again. Okay, for black people, America never really been great. It's been a better country by default in a way from Africa, because Africa been looted so bad, and they only show us negative parts of Africa. You know, they don't show us Ethiopia and South Africa, the beautiful parts of Africa, the true beauty of Africa. You know what I'm saying? Africa is a beautiful country. They don't show us that. They show us negativity. You know what I'm saying? The fact Africa had the first university, you know what I'm saying? This is facts. You know what I'm saying? Africa, you know, was a man named Mansa Musa, was the richest man, and he lived in Africa, you know. That is facts. Facts right there. I mean, you can't deny that. Like, these are facts that you can look up. It's in your face. I'm saying it's in your face. These are facts here. You know what I'm saying? These are facts, you know. But with this unfit system, you know what I'm saying, we need to retrain these cops. You know what I'm saying? Like I mentioned, but I wanted to get to the mistrial. I didn't have a chance to speak on this. I'm sorry for the wait also. I apologize. I'm saying I got sick randomly, but let me keep on point. The mistrial of, you know, the Minnesota cop killing, you know, the innocent brother, Castile. And he's innocent. And I found that Lady Liberty loans his money now. You know what I'm saying? His family got $3 million. You know what I'm saying? Look like they never give us justice, but they give us money. In a way, they want us to get that money back. You know what I'm saying? That's the only form of reparations we will ever get if we have someone killed innocently in an unfair trial, mistrials all the time. It's ridiculous. Even with the Cosby, he was found innocent. It's funny how the system is. OJ was found innocent also. We're going to talk about OJ. OJ's getting out in October. And yeah, people probably upset, but hey, you know what I'm saying? It's funny how OJ could be innocent, but, you know, and then also the cop now in 2017 is innocent for killing it, you know what I'm saying, a brother that should not been dead, along with Michael Brown, you know, Eric Gardner also with this list. And it's sad it's a list out there, you know, it's a shame it's a list. And also in Seattle, a black woman was shot. She called the police. They shot her. You know, it's ridiculous. These are facts. You know, these are facts. And I'm back on Trump. Trump, he doesn't run anything. I want people to know this. He doesn't run anything. He's a figure, public figure. That's it. That lives in the White House. He doesn't run anything. He's like a substitute teacher. He's just fill in. It's not real. It's not real. I'm saying he's not really running anything. And I want to talk about this North Korea incident. You know, if they wanted to bomb us, they do it by now. You know, it's all to get you worried. I'm not worried. You know what I'm saying? I'm at peace of mind. Once you have peace of mind and technically heaven on earth in your mind, nothing can bother you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gradually getting to that process. But yeah. And you know, it's just a battle of egos, you know. Donald Trump, you know what I'm saying? Eventually, I feel like possibly, sadly, we might see a World War III, and it's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? The ego, you know, of our country has, you know, it shows. It is, you know what I'm saying? That would lead to the fall of Babylon, Rome Empire as well, you know. It's ridiculous, you know. But I notice people, we don't care about the truth. You know, we just looking for stories. Even the media, they don't care about the truth. They look for stories. You know, that's how they run. They run off of fake stories most of the time. You know, just to create buzz and pretty much revenue. That's how it happens. You know, and you know, my next subject, I'm saying, I talked about the gun violence. You know, cops killing innocents. But I noticed the NRA never say anything, and they pro guns. They are pro guns. They never say anything about an innocent soul lost to gun violence, white or black. I mean, they, you know, it's ridiculous. They never say anything, you know, about a black soul lost. They never say anything. Nothing. You know, they're quiet as a mouse. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Quiet as a mouse. You know what I'm saying? And it makes you wonder why. Like, oh, they got nothing to say. NRA, you guys control the guns. You know what I'm saying? And people, you know, martial law, man. That could also, it's also other fear, but people wonder why, you know, the community is frustrated, you know, and you know, people wonder why black communities are, you know, frustrated. And I wanted to find frustrated, but first I wanted to break it down. You know what I'm saying? Projects, it was an experiment. You know what I'm saying? Germany, ghettos, that was for Jewish people. People don't know that. That's a fact. Jewish people, ghetto, one race in a neighborhood, ghetto. But, you know, projects was an experiment, you know. It's an experiment to see what one race can do to destroy each other, self-destruct. You know, they kill us with malt liquor, that kills your brain cells, you know. You know, iron and manganese, that kills your brain cells, you know. Guns, they have guns in the neighborhoods, you know, and then even the food, I'm gonna get on the food, you know, most of these food tastes good, and then we all been guilty of eating, you know, foods we ain't supposed to eat, but it tastes great. That food ain't necessarily good for the body, you know. It ain't never been good for the body. The food that always been good for the body is the food that we can grow and eat. Not cows, you know, we was never supposed to eat meat. You know what I'm saying? Individuals don't understand that. Like, we're not even supposed to eat meat. But, you know, we're not even supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? Pork destroys the body eventually. Bacon is about as worse as smoking cigarettes. That's cancerous. You know, poverty destructs our neighborhoods, you know, drugs, you know, they constantly push drugs and cigarettes in our neighborhoods, you know. I was listening to an interview with Dave Chappelle. He said a cigarette company, he was 14 years old, and one day a cigarette company was promoting the cigarette brand, and they gave him a cigarette, like, he was 14. And the trend can even start there, you know. They always promote cigarettes in neighborhoods like this, you know, communities, like, you know, it's ridiculous to keep saying this trend. It's ridiculous. But I didn't forget. Let me get back on the definition of frustration. Frustration is the feeling of being upset or ignored, especially because inability to change or achieve something. If that don't fit black people in America, I don't know what definition can fit black people in America. I'm saying, I got in a debate recently. I always get in debates. It's fine to conversate and have discussions. I got in a debate and I asked, do you believe that frustration leads to violence? And it definitely does. The definition fits, you know, feeling of upset, you know, especially because the inability to change something. If that's not a black individual in America living in Chicago, you can't tell me Chicago is not a representation of that definition. I'm saying the schools in Chicago, they, you know, school systems, man, you know, all that in Chicago just a represent. It's more cities like that. Philly, you know, as I mentioned in my last podcast, is, you know, they destroyed the movement. You know what I'm saying? They bombed Philly, bombed the streets, you know, buildings was destroyed. That's what they did. They love to use fire, as we see. Tulsa, Oklahoma, Great Fire of 1901. It's a trend. You know, even Seneca Village. You know what I'm saying? Fire towards that. Beautiful neighborhood just to build Central Park. It's funny, man. This fire trend is ridiculous. And I want to talk about also another definition of oppression, you know. Prolonged, cruel, or unfit or unjust treatment or control. You know what I'm saying? If that don't fit, you know, the people that's been, you know, if that don't fit the individual African American, you know, African descent, people of African descent, then I don't know what another definition that fit. We've been oppressed for so many years, 400 plus, you know. You know what I'm saying? Ever since we came here, you know what I'm saying? They've been looting Africa, you know what I'm saying? They kept starting wars with Africa, you know. I'm saying they always was picking Africa, you know, you know. You know, it's ridiculous. And yeah, man, it's ridiculous, you know. It's ridiculous. And yeah, man. And I noticed America sells trauma, you know, Patriots Day, you know, Sully, you know, Captain Phillips sell trauma, you know, 9/11. That was a staged event, you know. 5 months before that, Johnny Bravo have an image of a building in the background on fire. That was 5 months ago. You know, it's just coincidences, and you can't annoy coincidences too much that you can't connect dots, you know. Along with the Simpsons, you know, that's why we have Trump in the White House. You know, it was a meeting that's similar to the meeting that he had recently. You know what I'm saying? It's too many coincidences. You can't be too blind, you know. You can't, you know. It's ridiculous. Conscious are crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. And it's ridiculous. Yeah, and it's funny how, you know what I'm saying, never forget 9/11, but as soon as we mention slavery, like, you guys not over it yet? It's like, we're supposed to be over it? Like, if it's still oppression in this country, like, no. If it's still oppression, then we just asking for liberation. We need liberation. State of mind. We need to work on selves. We need to unify together, man. We need to get along regardless, you know. At this point, we need to just look past all our differences at this point. I'm talking about any race at this point, you know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous that we can't get along. Like, as individuals, we can't find love, you know. Individually, we can't find a common ground. It's ridiculous. It's 2017, you know what I'm saying? People, it's still the mind state, and there's some tension of 16, you know. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Nothing new underneath the sun, like I said earlier. But yeah, it's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? We have the victim mind state, you know. And also, you know, we have, you know, losing lower motivation, you know. Once something go wrong, you know, our motivation decreases, you know. We always, you know, get, you know, stumped our motivation, you know. Black people, you know, we always get stumped with low motivation, you know. It's ridiculous, you know, circumstances we've been put through, you know. It's ridiculous. There was another incident I wanted to talk about. Tyrone Jackson, his brother's head was found on a porch. You know, crimes like this still happening. Events like this still happening, you know. Lynching still going on to this day, you know. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, you know. You know, it got to come to a stop it, you know. And don't be shocked if things that happen in Haiti and also in Virginia, you know, become trends. You know, you can't keep pushing somebody's button, you know. You know what I'm saying? You can't keep doing that. And it's a trend. People say God got us, you know. God do have us, but, you You know, he always will watch over us, you know, never doubt that. But we got to work together. We got to get along. We got to build something, you know, so they can't keep burning it down. You know what I'm saying? We got to build something. And they keep burning it down because of envy and jealousy. I'm tired of seeing that. That's what happened in Tulsa. That what happened in, you know, the Great Fire of 1901. That would happen there in Florida. You know, it is a constant trend. It got to stop at some point. You know, it's 2 million people in jail, in prison. You know, and 40 million, like of descent, African descent, and it's like 40 million of us, 40 plus in this country alone, right there. And you know, it's a greed thing. It's been a greed thing, and it's been a compression, repression, Tyree Bruce thing. You know, it's got to stop. You know, I wanted to talk about something recently I heard it's not recent, but something I've been wanting to mention about Stevie Wonder on his Black Lives Matter. He had an interview talking about Black Lives Matter. We got to stop killing each other. We do got to stop doing that, you know, and we got to build communities that are solid so we won't have an excuse because frustration leads to violence, and that's definitely fits the definition as I explained, and that must stop. You know, we can't keep giving them the satisfaction. I'm saying we giving our lives, and that gives them the power. You know, that got to stop. That definitely got to stop, and I'm tired of that. Also, Jim Brown, he said something that really people should start thinking about, and which I definitely promote. He said black people need to be more like Jews. I'm saying they unified. So they run most things. You know, they were the reason for the slave trade. You know, they definitely behind all the money. You know, most of the reserve banks, Rothschilds, and all of them. People don't understand this. People don't understand. People don't understand that. No, we've been treated less than human for a while. The Constitution it doesn't satisfy us now, and it definitely didn't satisfy us then. It wasn't written for us. We were still slaves. July, you know. Juneteenth is the only day I celebrate that. You know what I'm saying? We've been treated like we're not humans, and to be honest, recently I seen the film Planet of the Apes. You know what I'm saying? That movie, you know what I'm saying? We reflect that movie, but we don't relate to apes because I'm tired of we come from apes. That is the opposite. I'm going to leave it at that. That is the opposite. I say it one more time. That is the opposite. We do not relate to apes. No feature of apes. So reverse that. We didn't come out of caves. That's all I'm going to say on that point. You know, that's we people. We been people. We was the first people here. But it's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Treated less than human. We had to prove that we was human. I'm saying that's ridiculous. We were the first people here. We had to prove, you know. The Moors created math. You know, they built all these castles. The oldest castle is still in Africa now. It's facts. Yeah, man, it's ridiculous, you know. It's ridiculous. You know, the KKK, you know, it's ridiculous. Still seeing that today. And that's the biggest terrorist group. ISIS, you know, everything been twisted in history, you know, starting with, you know, the swastika. That was the first thing twisted. With a lot of stuff twisted, you know, all that. Buddha was a black man. They got the twisties in the head for a reason. Buddha was a black man at first, you know. Everything has changed throughout time. It's ridiculous. Everything changed, and lies can be taught easily. You know, easily if you lose self-awareness, who you are as self, you know, history, culture, definitely any lies can be taught. After that, that's easy. Any lies can be taught. It's ridiculous, you know. Also, I wanted to talk about Colin Kaepernick being blackballed like he is. You know, it's ridiculous, you know. He's being blackballed, and, you know, he's not getting signed to the team. As I mentioned, they're not standing for, you know, you know, athletes like Ali and them. They don't want that. You know what I'm saying? They sign contracts. It's in the contracts. They don't do that. It's ridiculous. He's being blackballed. If anything, this is definitely going to promote boycotts, and eventually football will come to an end eventually. I don't care about sports no more. To be honest with you, I don't care about sports. It's always been a distraction. It started in Rome as a distraction. Events in Rome was always a distraction from what's going on, the real deal. It's always been a distraction. Always played as a distraction. I could care less about sports. Black Lives Matter. That's what I care about. Black businesses. That's what I care about. Black schools. Children growing up. That's what I care about. That's what I care about. Sports. Forget it. I could care less. People be getting arguments over sports. Like, yo, but what about what's really going on? Talk about Jordan all day, but what's really going on here? What's really going on here? It's ridiculous. Be getting the arguments for days over sports, but we can't pay attention to what's really going on. Turn off the TV, turn on your mind, Sick of it, Also, I wanted to talk about Elliott, the running back for the Cowboys. He got suspended for 6 games for possibly putting his hands on his female, possibly. Heard rumors that this is false reports, and I don't doubt it. I definitely don't doubt it. And also, this relates to Big Ben in a way, because he was suspended for the same amount of games, but he sexually assaulted someone, and that was facts. I still don't know the facts for this Elliott incident. Thanks to Dr. Umar. Shout out to Dr. Umar Johnson for that. The info right there. I had no idea they had the exact same time, and Ben, he did the bigger offense possibly. It's ridiculous. But the facts, they always hidden under the rug. That's why they get, they kick out knowledge, Knowledge, even from shows like, shout out to the Carmichael show. They're getting canceled, A lot of shows are getting canceled, The Underground got canceled, Shows like that. That show was good. And also, movies get swept on the rug like Nat Turner, Birth of a Nation. Just because he had a trial that he was innocent for, that blackballed the movement of the movie. That movie got 16.8 million. That's it. Box office. And a funny thing, I seen something compared to Girls Trip. 31 million first weekend. That's ridiculous. 31. It already surpassed the amount that Birth of a Nation got originally. And that's ridiculous. Conscious over, comedy over conscious, comedy over knowledge, it's ridiculous, it's ridiculous. And that's going to keep trending. But I noticed that Ben Affleck's brother that won the Oscar over those movies, over Fences, over that movie, he had a case himself, but guess what? He paid out of court. He settled it out of court, got swept under the rug, and he got an Oscar. Speaking of Oscars, Oscar Michelle, shout out to you. You the reason for the Oscars. People don't know this man was a filmmaker. He's the reason for the Oscars. The images for him. Shout out to you. Thank you so much, filmmaker. Thank you so much. That's facts. Also, I wanted to talk about the Jay-Z's album. I wanted to talk about this one song, and you guys need to listen to that project. It's a must. A song called Moonlight. Okay? These are the lyrics from Moonlight. Their grass is greener because they always rake in. We stuck in La La Land. And the song's called Moonlight. We are stuck in La La Land. We've been stuck in La La Land for a while now. We need to get out of la la land. You know, we need to wake up, open our eyes, you know, to what's really going on. Because black people, we are the most consumers. We spend like billions of dollars every year. You know what I'm saying? We need to work together and do that with each other. You know what I'm saying? That will create positivity, you know, within our communities. You know what I'm saying? Even we need to have these facts that people don't know, like hidden colors. Like if someone knew that Mansa Musa was the richest man alive, a kid knowing that, you know how much power that is? Knowledge is power. They keep saying this. It's a reason. Once you know something, that can spark positivity, spark innovation in a way too, as well. That's why I decided to make this podcast, for one. You know, that's why I wanted to spark positivity, you know, facts, real news. I'm you guys' news source. I try to be in the best form I can, you know. That's facts. I'm trying to provide factual information all the time. That's my job. That's what I wanted to do. I do this for y'all that's listening, the conscious people, and just to wake people up, to open eyes, to unify. That's what I want to do. You know, I open my eyes, and now I want to open you guys' eyes, you know. Open you guys' ears to open your eyes, you know. That's facts. I'm trying to do that. You know, it's facts. So that's what I want to do. I know I want to spark some positivity, you know, input, you know, factual information, you know. I also wanted to mention, I noticed at the BET Awards, Future and his daughter had a mask symbolizing a mask of the past. You know, they used to put similar facial mask on slaves back in the day. It was similar. Very something to think about, you know. Very something to think about. You know, food for thought, you know. And the show also, I wanted to mention this show is very makes you think, because there's a lot of this going on now that we see. The show called Black Mirror. Definitely check it out. You know, Chips, Mark of the Beast, you know, and I already talked about martial law. They tried to do that in Chicago, you know. And yeah, man, people need to wake up. And even shout out to Goody Mob. They had a song called Cell Therapy, and they talked about these things as well. You know, it's not just coincidence that certain things happen and come around. You know, some things come into a cycle, you know. What I mean by cycle, even disrespect for black women, it's a trend. And I'll get into that. The trend started Sarah Buttman. You know, it's ridiculous. It's trends now. You see the negativity towards black women in videos, you know, social media, you know, disrespecting their own bodies in a way. You know, it's a trend. It's a trend of thought. You know, it started in Europe over there. You know, the disrespect for a black woman started over there. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's sadly seen today still. You know, it's ridiculous. You know, the most disrespected woman on the planet. Definitely facts. You know, it's ridiculous. Some women, when they are married, back in the day, when they were married to, or when they had a husband, they was considered, you know, property. The women, you know, the wife was considered property of the husband. You know, it's ridiculous. You know, that's a fact. You know, it's ridiculous. Even like Buck from Get Out and Wench, you know, was slurs. Even Pickaninny was a slur for a small black child. These are facts. These are facts, man. It's ridiculous. You know, it's always been a constant disrespect. And it's sad because we was the first individuals here. And hatred, you know, rules the planet now. You know, greed rules the planet now. You know, it's ridiculous. And also I want to get on some other facts about, you know, some other facts on, you know, like apps like Snapchat. for FBI to facial recognition, recognize facial, that's a fact. You can look that up. It's a fact on that. And yeah, some people, we suffer for FOMO, fear of missing out. And we need to have balance, like balance for these devices that's usually controlling it, controlling our thoughts, ruin our sleep in ways. It could ruin our sleeps, control our whole day, off a phone, phones become our, like, technology, in a way became negative, because, the overusage of it. And that's why I just believe balance is key to everything, It's definitely key to everything, definitely. And yeah, it's key to everything. Yeah, that's why I believe balance is key, I'm saying definitely balance in our system. We need a balanced system, Like I said, it became a oligarchy, and deprogramming, starts with critical thinking and analyzing what you are watching. You just never blindly believing what you are told, fact checking, research, that's what I inspire, definitely facts, that's all I try to spill is facts, spill the tea. I try to always provide facts, truths that I know of. That's all I try to provide, facts like, Tasmanian people, they were completely, erased, that's a fact. Tasmanian people, yeah, and kind of a mockery, the Tasmanian devil on cartoon, Looney Tunes, kind of a mockery of that race of people. It's a lot of things people don't know, because these are facts that I'm new, like facts that's been hidden for a while, and it's not a coincidence that's, facts are being brought to light. Also, I seen a film, Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to get on the film, but I'm going to mention this part of the film where it was a question like, slaves built, the White House, and it was a head nod, a black security guard head nodded, yes. You know what I'm saying? Benjamin Banneker responsible for, the design of DC, period. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact, and the monuments in DC, like, yeah, definitely, that's a fact. It's monuments in Egypt. We built statues all over the place. China, South America. You could go anywhere. You could see, people of African descent, statues or, remains, people, features on statues of us, it make you think about everything. It's like, what have we been taught? History is trying to tell you that, like in Texas, slavery, like they trying to say slaves was workers and try to, do lies like that, just twist facts in history. You can't lie about history, you can't lie about history. I'm saying you tell his story, but not truly, just not the true story, the real history, the hidden history. You guys like to hide history. I don't like that. Like slavery is always like, oh, forget it, and then the Holocaust is a totally different thing. Hitler had 10 million, Jews killed, but also, King Leopold II, 15 million Africans killed. People don't even know about him. It's people you don't hurt because it's swept underneath the rug. Some history lessons are swept underneath the rug, and that's sad. They hide the truth. It's sad. That's ridiculous to hide the truth from people. All these years, centuries, you don't know the truth about your people, about yourself. That's a shame. It's a shame. Even inventions been hidden. Fire extinguisher. X-ray, lawnmower, mailbox, mop. Baby bucky. Etc. cell phone car. You know, it's ridiculous. Facts like this are hidden, you know, to, demotivated people. Just, it's sad. That's ridiculous. But yeah, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous, And James Baldwin, our crowns have been bought and paid for, and all we have to do is put them on our heads, Another quote, Fred Hampton, we can't fight racism with racism, you know what I'm saying? We fight racism with solidarity. We definitely need solidarity in these times, It's ridiculous, Definitely. And we always should, live and, every day as Black History Month is every day, That's empowering to an individual. Knowing that we invented most of these things. We built the pyramids. We, created castles globally. We created math. That's a powerful factor, If we don't know these things, then we will be constantly deprived of the truth, It's ridiculous, And nothing in the world is more dangerous than, ignorance of ignorance and constantly stupidity. Martin Luther King, stupidity is the most, the dangerous, The lack of consciousness is the most dangerous being, Lack of knowledge, People not exposed to facts, They wouldn't know these things, They don't know these things. It's tiring, If we don't know the truth, then, we're just going to constantly be lied to and thinking that's the truth. That's what represents, fake news. Definitely represents slavery. And, lies that we've been taught throughout years and centuries, That's just facts. It's time to, work together, get along. We gotta get it together. We gotta eat right, vegetables. Grow. We gotta grow our food. We gotta learn how to make our food. Stop depending on McDonald's. McDonald's food will never help you. You know what I'm saying? They have cheap foods that taste good, but not good for you in the long run. That causes cancer, causes, stomach illnesses. It causes most of these diseases. Foods like that, bacon, as I mentioned earlier, foods that do not help you in the long run, such as those foods I mentioned. Those foods do not help you in the long run. We gotta make businesses, We gotta invest in our communities, invest back, to do our own thing, Even schools, if you want Black schools, maybe even homeschool your child, That's the most powerful thing you could do. I had friends that was homeschooled, Homeschooling your children is not a bad move. It's not a bad move. Definitely not. Definitely not a bad move. I'm saying that's the perfect situation, We need to retrain and deprogram. It's ridiculous. We need to reprogram, reprogram and start over. Restart button. And definitely need to do this. And Malcolm X quoted, nothing more sad than an African with a Europe mind. He means an unconscious man not knowing of self, pretty much. Definitely what he means. If you don't want knowledge of self, then if you're not wanting or have a desire for knowledge of self, and that represents ignorance, ignorance is bliss, And recently I seen activist and comedian Dick Gregory always exposes truth, and I champion him. I appreciate Dick Gregory. Everybody should see him at least once. Very powerful facts. Facts he exposes and make you think and inspire you to research. He inspired me to do this podcast, as well as Malcolm X's and all the legends of legends and activists of the movement in the 60s and throughout the years. He said, you can't have peace without having freedom. You can't have one or the other, pretty much. I'm paraphrasing, but that's facts. Facts also, I forgot to mention negas. That's a ruler, meaning ruler, and emperor. It's positivity behind some words that's been twisted throughout years. And it's sad that we don't know the facts. But, once we inspired to learn differently, and truth is only visible to those who are able to question everything that they have been taught to believe. Question everything. This book called The Four Agreements, definitely everybody should read that. It makes you question everything. Definitely. It's been a mentality that's been passed down through generations. It's time to learn different and reprogram and restart. Thank you for listening. This has been Conscious of Crazy. Thank you. I appreciate you for listening. Appreciate you. Peace and love to all those who want unity in this country, just globally. There's never been a hate speech. I believe in peace to the fullest. Regardless if you're white, black, peace to the fullest. Love everybody. Let's see these differences. Let's knock these walls down. And let's get along. Let's learn how to get along. If we can't get along, we need to grow as communities first and then try to get along. Self first, and then evolve. Thank you for listening. This has been Conscious of Crazy. My name is Cedric Kirksey, by the way. Thank you for listening. You can always email me, consciouscrazy@gmail.com. I have a page on Facebook, Conscious Crazy. Look me up. Thank you for listening. God bless. God bless. Thank you and peace. Put God before any man. Man will never be satisfied. Thank you. Peace.